Credit monitoring, and is it worth paying for? Hello, you got Mr. Smith, point five of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Pose for the frame. Boom. They're probably gonna be a not the screenshot, the YouTube thumbnail. But anyway, in this video, I want to talk about credit monitoring. Is it worth paying for? Now, what is credit monitoring? It's exactly what it sounds like. And if you're watching the video, you probably know what it is. And you just want to know, is it worth paying for? Credit monitoring is the ability to monitor your credit. So there are different services out there that allow you to monitor your credit and see what's going on. If it's fraud activity going on, being able to check your scores, check your reports, things of that nature. And different credit monitoring service offer different types of scores. So you might have some that track the FICO score, which is usually more expensive. However, it is more accurate in terms of what more lenders are using to determine whether or not they want to lend you money. However, many people use a Vantage score, and it's a good gauge on where your score is. And if it's growing, then good chance your FICO may be growing. And I've learned that it's sometimes about a 30-point difference, give or take. So, an example, you might have a Vantage score of 700, but your FICO score might be 670. So that's something to consider. So if you're using a Vantage score, then you might want to aim for a higher credit goal so that even if the Vantage score is slightly different from the FICO, if you set that Vantage score goal higher, you at least still land on your FICO goal. And then when it's time for you to apply for loans and things of that nature, you're in good shape because you understood how to overestimate in terms of your Vantage score, because the Vantage score is cheaper to get and it has some cool things that comes along with it sometimes, even though it's not the score that most lenders use. So I still use Vantage scores myself. I own a credit restoration company, and we teach people how to better their finances or better their credit on their own. Or if they want us to do it for them, then we also do it for them, send out the letters, coach them on things that they can do themselves, the whole 9 yards. So that being said, we do a little bit of both because we understand that credit is a holistic focus, meaning that you can't just focus on one thing without focusing on everything. So that's the angle that we take. And that being said, we like to teach people how to do it themselves if they're interested in it, or we do it for them. Now, back to the credit monitoring as it relates to, is it worth it? Well, of course, you want to be able to monitor your credit, especially if you're on the path of bettering your credit and you're doing it yourself, or if you have somebody doing it for you. You need to have credit monitoring throughout the whole duration. Now, there are ways to get free credit monitoring. I know that a lot of people use freeannualcreditreport.com, and that is a free credit monitoring. I don't recommend it like that. I recommend it if you just want to get your report, but for two reasons. For one, you don't get your score. For two, if you use that model, then when it's time to dispute, you give the bureaus 45 days versus 30 days to respond based on when they receive a letter. So why would you want to give them more time to respond when you could possibly get some things removed and use the small window of time to your advantage? So that's why I don't personally recommend it. Now, as it relates to credit monitoring that you pay for, it can range typically anywhere from $15 a month to $30 a month, give or take. And sometimes it might have a smaller entry. So you might see $4.99, but then $25 a month. You might see $25 a month, or you might see paying for one bureau at a time separately. But either way, there are different options. And I personally recommend getting all three, and there are some free ones because a lot of people use Credit Karma and it usually provides two. And that's cool because some people use that one and then they might track their experience elsewhere. So whatever works for you. But I have one that I personally recommend. Now, is credit monitoring worth it? Yes. If you're monitoring your credit and you want to just keep a good close eye on what your credit score is, or if it's being used, or if people are running your credit, you'll be able to get alerts on different things that are going on. And sometimes credit monitoring includes identity theft. Not all the time, but sometimes it does. But this is what you want to base it on, more importantly to me. I feel like sometimes people shop for the best price, but price doesn't always equate to value. So just because you save money doesn't mean that you've done the best as it relates to choosing the right credit monitoring system. The lower the cost doesn't necessarily determine the best quality or the best value that you'll get. Sometimes it's okay to pay more in order to get more. That's the whole saying of sometimes you get what you pay for. So it's okay to pay more in order to get more. What do I mean? Many credit monitoring services, and the one that I personally recommend, and I'll link to it down below if it's something that you're interested in, allow you to not only track your credit, not only monitor what's going on, but also educate you so that you have a timeless piece of information that you can tap into to restore your credit for years to come, all because you tapped into the right credit monitoring. So a credit monitoring system shouldn't just be just that, credit monitoring. It should also include some tools that you can use that can benefit you and your credit, benefit your knowledge base that you can then take and turn into uh, a long-term high credit score, because sometimes people get a good credit score in the short term because they don't have the knowledge to go along with it. But if you had the right mentor, the right coach, or the right person restoring your credit, or the right credit monitoring system, then that might be just enough of what you need in order to be educated in the sector of credit so you can best benefit from it. So yes, credit monitoring is needed, but the right credit monitoring positions you so that you no longer need to restore your credit. And the right group of people helps you even more. So if you're interested in learning how to do it yourself, we have that option as well. Or if you would like me and my staff, my team of people to do it for you, reach out, let me know. We'll be glad to assist you. Just wanted to do this quick video. It's getting late here, but I wanted to create some fresh content that I can upload. Not sure when I upload it, but hopefully you get some value out of it and understand that credit monitoring is beneficial, especially if you choose the right credit monitoring. That's all I got. Mr. Smith, 0.50, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards, signing out. Salute.